Hi, everybody. It is Kathy, and I love to be selling. Come on in, sellers. Let's talk. We're going to go over five, five top tips that are going to help you increase your eBay sales, particularly when they're slow. Oh, right? And when they get slow, it's like, I get so I don't mean to laugh. It's like, please, because when it happens to me, I'm always like, ah. But when it happens, it is so frustrating, and it happens to everybody. And if you, if you're a seller where you never have slow sales, all I can say is good for you. But for most people, no matter what you sell, there's going to be days, and then what can be really frustrating is when it's weeks that you have slow sales, or if you go a day or two with no sales. There's things that you want to do, and there's things that you can do that will typically increase your sales. And that's what I'm going to share. And the tips that I'm sharing about increasing your sales, the ones that I'm going to share today, work if you have a store or if you don't have a store. So I did want to pick things that are something that you can do regardless of what you're selling. The tips I'm going to share really work for all categories. They also work whether you are a part-time eBay seller or whether you are a full-time eBay seller. So let's get right to it, because when things do slow down, I don't know about you, my initial reaction is, right? Now, the thing is, there is what is called an ebb and flow to e-commerce. And if you're unfamiliar with that term, you've probably experienced it when you're out shopping in brick and mortar stores. And a brick and mortar store is a regular physical store. So let me know if you've run into this, because it's pretty typical of just about any kind of store, whether it's a drugstore or a supermarket or a clothing store or a toy store. But this will happen to me. I'll walk into the store. Let's say it's like the supermarket. And I walk in and there's maybe half a dozen people there. Or maybe there's a dozen people there, but there's not a lot of people there. It may not be the time of day. Okay, so I'm going to assume this is just sort of like a normal time of day, like mid-morning or mid-afternoon, not like a peak time. Like here in New York, a peak time would be like right around breakfast time, because people will do errands on their way to work, or same thing at lunchtime and supper time. And you walk in and there's, maybe like half a dozen people or so. It could be a store like Macy's. I walk into the women's department. Let's say I'm looking for socks, and there's maybe half a dozen people, around browsing. And I'm there, and I pick up the socks that I want, or I'm at the supermarket, I grab the veggies that I want, and I go to the checkout. And when I get to the checkout, I turn around and I look, and my gosh, all of a sudden there's like 30, 40 people there. It's like literally the amount of people has like doubled or tripled within half an hour. And they're not running a big promotion. Sometimes you'll be in a store and there's a special promotion going on, a doorbuster or something like that. Or they have somebody outside giving coupons. So it's not something like that. It's just normal ebb and flow. All of a sudden, there's more shoppers, because all of a sudden another 30 or 40 people decided to come in and buy whatever item. So that can happen. Where literally just people aren't buying eBay t-shirts that day. And so for whatever reason, no matter how well optimized your listing is, no matter what you're doing to your listing, there just aren't people buying that item for that day or for a couple of days. So that can be your situation. And that's why when it initially happens, so let's say you've been selling typically 5 things a day or 10 things a day or 2 things a day, and it drops, is you just sort of breathe and go and just sort of wait 24 hours and just see if things sort of get going again, or a day or two. If it keeps going that way, so typically you were selling 5 a day and all of a sudden you're dropping to 1 a day, or typically you were selling 10 things a day, all of a sudden you've dropped to 2. And again, you're not, for instance, like a very seasonal seller, so that you just came through, let's say like Halloween, when you were selling a ton of costumes. And it's not that costumes don't sell year round, because they do, but you just went through your peak period. So let's say it's just sort of a normal selling season. You sell a variety of items or things that would be bought year round. You go from a typical sales, and literally you've had this amount of sales typically for, let's say, 3 months, 6 months. So you very typically sell 5 a day or 10 a day. And all of a sudden there's a real drop. It's like, ugh. It's like, okay, Number one, because I'm going to give you 5 tips. Number one, have you changed what you do dramatically, like in the past week? Okay. And I mean dramatically. So let's say you typically list 3 things a day. And let's say you just had a long weekend and you had family visiting or friends visiting. So you did not list at all for 4 or 5 days. Hi, Sharon. That's a big change because you typically do one thing and for a period of 4 or 5 days, you didn't do it. Okay. So that's one thing to consider. Another thing to consider is that you might, for instance, like you were selling steadily, let's say you were selling steadily eBay shirts. And let's say when you were out thrifting or at a consignment store, or let's say you do retail arbitrage, or you were like at a Target or a Walmart, a Filene's, you were at Nordstrom Rack, and you got like a bunch of great, I'm just going to make something up, Irish sweaters. Okay. And you listed them. You were doing 4 and 5 a day. You listed 30, 40 sweaters or ponchos, right? Or hoodies, whatever it is. And you sold a bunch of them. And you're pretty much out of them. So that can be something, which is you just went through a season of a week or 2, or perhaps a month of selling a lot of hoodies, sweaters, kids' baby blankets, because you got a really good stash of them. You got them listed, and all of a sudden you're sold out of them. Okay. Or you're very, very low. So you had like this wonderful assortment, and then all of a sudden you're very, very low. So what I'm saying is look at, has anything really changed in the past week or 2? Have your listing practices changed? Has your inventory assortment, and I realize many sellers sell soup to nuts. That's great. But within the soup to nuts, like, did you notice like men's shirts were really flying off the shelf? Or your bedding, perhaps your sheets and your blankets were really flying off the shelf, and you're pretty much sold out. So you're still selling soup to nuts, but that one category, and even very broad categories, like let's say you had a lot of great men's shoes, is pretty much gone because the places that you were sourcing, you got all the good stuff, and you don't have more similar to that. Like you don't have more men's shoes, but you've got kids' shoes or women's shoes, but you're really sold through a category. That can be it, because you were listing stuff that was in high demand. You did your research, you priced it right, you had great pictures, optimization, and you're pretty much sold through. So just that's something to consider. Did anything really change? And if it's something that you have control over, so let's say men's shoes. So you go and you look and you go, wow, you know what really sold in the past 30 days? Because you go and you look at your solds, men's shoes. Okay. And let's say you have a bunch of unlisted inventory. And let's say in the unlisted inventory, you got a lot more men's shoes. Well, then you get listing that. Okay. So if I see, certainly you sell a variety. A lot of us sell variety. But within that variety, what sold in the past 30 days? And that's my second tip. What sold? And you go, wow, you know what? Men's shoes really sold. I was starting and looking at something, some women's clothing. And in the women's clothing, size small and medium was really selling. Now, 4 or 5 months ago, large was really selling, which is really interesting. And all of a sudden, small and medium was really selling. So I went, So now what lets me know as I'm going through unlisted inventory is make sure I get my smalls and my mediums up, because for whatever reason, that's what's really selling right now. So again, have I changed my behavior? Take a look at your solds. What general category is selling the best before I had my slowdown? Do I have more of that? Or if I'm outsourcing inventory, can I get more of that? Like, wow, men's shoes was really flying off the shelf. The couple of thrift stores that I go to, or the consignment store that I go to, and I know for myself, like there's certain stores in my area, and I know which ones tend to have certain types of things. There was one, sadly it closed, but there was one that was really good on men's jeans. So if all of a sudden, wow, men's jeans are really selling, I would go back to that store because I know they typically had really good men's jeans. So keep an eye on that, because that can really help. Again, we're so busy doing everything for our businesses. And for a lot of sellers, they're part-time sellers. So it's like, I'm doing a full-time job, I'm doing kids, I'm doing elder care. Taking that 5 minutes just to check the solds, just to think through my schedule. You know what? I had company last weekend and I really didn't do much of my eBay, which is fine. But if I typically do a certain amount of activity and then all of a sudden I stop, it's like going to the gym. If I'm typically doing a certain amount for my biceps and then all of a sudden I just sort of blow my biceps off for a week or two, guess what? My biceps don't look the same, right? And also when I pick up the weights again, I'm like, oh my goodness, this is so heavy. So just, it's good just to like go back, think through your schedule. Okay. Third thing that can really help you wake your sales up is the send offers to buyers. And what you do is you'll sort in your seller hub and it lets you know which items you can send offers to. Now, I know some sellers will say to me, oh, I send them out and nobody ever takes them. So it's like, okay, been there. And other people are wildly successful with offers. So a couple of things with send offers to buyers. One, it's letting eBay know, it's letting the eBay algorithms know that you are actively involved, that your listings are not asleep, that you are not asleep, that you are actively engaged in your selling. That's part of why listing regularly helps. One, the listing helps because obviously you're getting more inventory listed. And the more inventory you have listed, typically the more eyeballs you're getting in on your items, because we're assuming that when you're listing, you're writing great listings and that you've done your research and you're selling things that are in demand. But the thing with send offers to buyers is, and think about this, and the problem is you can't track it, which, yay, eBay, if we could get this data, it would be great. So let's say I send an offer, Sharon's watching. So I send an offer to Sharon on the eBay t-shirt. And she may go, oh, that eBay t-shirt. Yeah, I was looking at that. And she clicks in and she looks at it and she goes, I don't really want it. But she may then go and look at my other listings. Remember with the send offer to buyer, yes, it's great if they buy the item that you're sending the offer on. But the other thing is it's re-engaging somebody that's interested in your item. Now, yes, the person that looked at the item, put the item in the shopping cart, because there's a bunch of things that can trigger their eligibility for a send offer to buyer, which is abandoned shopping cart. They spend a lot of time looking at it, but it can re-engage them. Okay. It's like it re-engages them. So again, they'll come and look at it, look at the shirt and they go, yeah, you know what? I really don't want that. But they're now, and this is particularly true if you have an eBay store, they're now in my listings, right? So let's say Sharon's come in and she's looked at the t-shirt. She's like, that's not really for me. But she's right there. She might then hop over, right? And take a look at my other shirts or my shoes or whatever. Why? Because you're browsing. It's like being in the store. It's like you come in for the sale on the socks. You look at the socks and you go, yeah, it's not really what I thought they were going to be, but you're right there. So then you're looking at the pantyhose, you're looking at the tights. I'm just thinking because you're in that department. So just think of that with the send offer to buyer, is it's re-engaging somebody that was interested in your inventory. And so that item may not sell because again, people will say to me, I send the offers out and it doesn't get taken. But it can generate other sales. Similar to what promoted listings can do, right? Because the item's promoted, the shopper will see the item in their feed when they're searching on eBay. They may click the item. This is why I'm such a fan of promoted listings. They'll click the item, they come and look at it, and they go, yeah, that's not exactly what I want. But they're in your listings. And especially people with eBay stores, they're in your store. And then they have a tendency to look at other things that you're offering. Okay, so keep that in mind. The other thing with send offers to buyers is to make it interesting enough. A very low percentage, typically like 10%, is not going to get anybody's attention. Okay. So that you do your pricing that you can afford to give people 20% off, 30% off. And particularly if you're able to send an offer on an item that has been sitting in your listings forever, right? It's been there for a couple of years and it's something that you're like, please just buy this and take this off my hands. consider giving a really nice discount just to be really tantalizing to that shopper that they'll come and purchase it. And my other thought on send offers to buyers is if it's items that it's very tight margins where your profit is just not a lot, you're just not making a lot of money on this item. But it's been sitting there and you don't want to give it away. You do want to make a profit, but it's been sitting there and you'd like somebody to buy this. Is do then a lower percentage, do a 5% or a 10%, because it might nudge them to get it because they're like, oh boy, they're going to save $1 or $2. So don't not send an offer just because the percentage is very low because it's a tight margin thing. Some people, they're like, hey, I get to save $1 and it's something they are interested in because that's why they threw the watch on it. It's not just your competitors. And they go, hey, I'm going to save $1. It's something I really wanted. They looked around, they know it's well priced. They're like, hey, I'm going to save $1. And then they take it. So take a look at that, the send offers to buyers. And also because it does bring traffic into your items. And anything that brings traffic into your items is good because you want more shoppers to be looking at your items. If you don't do this, consider adding best offer. And for people that don't use best offer, I encourage you to do it. You can add it with bulk edit. You can literally click whichever items you want to add it. And you can click and then you click edit. It will pull the items up. And then you look at all the offerings that eBay gives you and you can add best offer. The reason the best offer is so good is, again, you'll get the hagglers. Again, they're looking to save a few bucks. Price it accordingly. If you're willing to take $20, you price it at $25 or you price it at $28. So when people come in with an offer, you're like, yay, right? It's up to you because with best offer, you can automate auto decline. There's two thoughts on this. One is do not set auto decline because yes, and it depends on what you're selling. Yes, you can get very annoying lowball offers. So let's say it's an $80 item and people are sending you offers for $5. It's like, ugh. But the thing about that is, so let's say they do that. It's an $80 item. They send you a $5 offer. You're like, ugh, please. But you can counter. So one is they've sent you an offer. And to let you know, that helps your listing because the eBay algorithms see that there is interest in your listing. So this is a good thing. They send you an offer. It's crazy low. Counter 60 or 50 or 70 or whatever it is that you are willing to accept. Oftentimes, and again, this is going to depend on the category. It will depend what you sell. They'll come up. I had this recently. If I remember correctly, it was an $80 item and they sent me an offer for $40, which was too low. So I countered 70. Now this person wasn't willing to come up. I think they came up to like 40, 45. It wasn't high enough. I really wanted, like I would do 70, 68, maybe 65, but I wasn't going to go much lower than that because it was just listed. It's like, again, that's another thing. Did you just list it? Hasn't been up forever. And they didn't come up. But you know what? We went back and forth. I got a really good idea of what they were, willing to go for. I wasn't willing to go that low, but they came up because I countered. Now, if you do have some items, this can happen particularly on luxury items. And you're really getting bombarded with lowball offers, and it's really taking up a lot of time. So let's say it's a gorgeous designer handbag, and it's $200, and you're getting these interesting people who want to offer you $10 for it. Then I can see with something like that, if you find you're getting bombarded, and it's really gobbling up your time, then I would go in and definitely do auto decline and go, okay, they need to be $50 or higher, and do that. But do realize that when you get an offer, the eBay algorithms do see your item as interesting, okay? Because there's engagement and there's an offer on it. So consider that when you do set auto decline, okay? But certainly your time is money. It's going to depend on the item. So walk in wisdom. Now, one thing I do on best offer is I do set up auto accept. Why not? It saves me having to accept it. So again, back to the $200 gorgeous designer purse. On the $200 purse, if I'm willing to take $180 or $170, you can click auto accept and eBay will accept it for me. Now, depending, because eBay's rolling this out, so I'm going to date this. Oh, my toolbar, I don't have my date. Hang on a second, I got to look at it. So this is February 2nd, 2022. For some sellers, when people send you a best offer, okay, they have payment information auto logged so that when the best offer is accepted, the payment goes through. eBay is rolling this out. So it's not on everything yet, as far as I know, because I've heard some people say I have it, and then other people say I don't have it. Okay, so just know that the people do have 4 days to pay. Yes, at times people cannot pay. Yes, it's highly annoying. But again, what does best offer do? It can get a dialogue going. Remember about communication, relationship, but it gets a dialogue going. You have an interested buyer, as long as they're not giving you too crazy lowball items. And if they are, then you set up an auto decline on that. But you can get them up. And I talk to so many sellers, my private clients, in my membership group, where they were, with a little back and forth, they got the price up to a level. And sometimes, again, especially if it's been sitting there for a while, let's say you really wanted 70, they come up to 65. But we get to listen to New York City in the background. Okay, it's $5 lower than I wanted, but it's been there for 2 years. I only paid maybe $10, $20 for the item. Take the money, right? It's like, that's a good price. I'm making good money. It's a little bit less than I wanted, but it's been there for a while. And with the back and forth, you're able to get it up, right? And then I get the sale, and then yay, right? Because again, we're looking at 5 strategies to get the sales up. And one of the strategies is best offer. And part of best offer can be taking a little bit less than I had really wanted, but you're getting a sale. So I'm taking $2 less or $5 less, but particularly for items that I got like for free or for practically nothing, and I'm still making a really good profit. That's when people say, I'm so insulted. I don't mean to, but really, it's like, come on. You listed it for, let's say, 100. They're willing to give you 65. It's been listed for, let's say, 2 years. You got it for $5 or $10 or $20. Take the money. And then you get the sale. Because that's the whole goal. I need the sales. If I'm not making the sales, I'm not making the money for my business. I'm selling on eBay. Yes, it's fun. Yes, I love my fellow sellers. I'm selling on eBay to make money, just like eBay. Why is eBay doing what it does? It can be frustrating. It can be challenging. eBay makes money when we sell. eBay is incentivized to help us sell because that's how they make money. And same thing for us. If I don't sell, I don't make money. Okay. Then I can't pay my eBay fees. Last one, 5th one, social media. And the reason to do social media, and this is Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest. If you're not aware of this on your traffic report, which is in Seller Hub, if you scroll down, it will let you know the traffic that is coming to you from eBay, which is eBay's getting you those shoppers. And what you'll notice is the majority of your shoppers are coming from eBay, which is good. It means eBay is sending us consumers, which we want. But if you look at it, there's a very dark blue section. The dark blue is external traffic. This is traffic that's coming to you from a web search. Okay. Thankfully, on my listings, I've got a decent amount of navy blue because I do quite a bit of social media. The reason for doing it, the reason you want that navy blue, yes, yay, eBay search. And that's why we're doing optimized listings. That's why we do promoted listings. That's why we do a lot of things. eBay sends us traffic. But a great way to bump up your sales is you increase your traffic with work that you do. It's something that you're in control of, right? I don't control eBay, but I can control my posting on social media. I can control my posting on Facebook, on Instagram, on Pinterest, my products with links to my eBay. And when I look at the traffic report, and right now they don't break it down by where it's coming from. One of these days we'll get that. eBay's promised us to us several times. We'll see. So I don't know if it's coming from Facebook. I don't know if it's coming, which web engine it's coming from or Pinterest, but it's coming from outside eBay. And let me tell you something else about web browsers, particularly Google. It loves social media. And that's why you do it, because it is free traffic. It costs you nothing for a Facebook business page or your Instagram or your Pinterest. It's going to cost you some time, right? But by pinning, by posting my items on social media, and you don't need an eBay store to do this, I am getting traffic to my items, okay? So I can look at my behavior. I can look at my solds with what I'm sourcing. I can consider sending offers to buyers. I can consider adding best offer and social media. I want that navy blue on my traffic report because it lets me know that people are clicking through and coming to my items as they're out on the internet. They're seeing the eBay shirt that I pin to Pinterest or that I post on Facebook, and then clicking and coming in to my eBay listings. And it's something that I can control. It's something where I can help. I'm very proactive. Everybody knows that. And I am not a cookie cutter eBay seller or eBay coach. I'm very much about, tailoring different things for different people, whether you're full-time or part-time, and different things that you sell. That's why I do one-on-one coaching, and you can book that on my website. That's why I have a membership. That's why I work with sellers, because everybody's different, and it's about finding strategies that work for you. But social media is doable by everybody. It gets you traffic, and it doesn't cost you anything. And if you hop over to my website, ilovetobeselling.com, you'll see the banner, the Essential Social Media Cheat Sheet. And if you don't see the banner right there, if you look up at the top on my website for free tips, just click the toggle and you'll see it. And I give you tips for social media for eBay sellers, because it is specific about how you post on social media as a seller, because it's different than people that are posting on social media that are brands and other things. And it's a little different for us because we're eBay sellers. We don't own the eBay site. It's not our store, our site. So there's slightly different tactics that you want to work that will work for you as an eBay seller, but you can get more sales and for free, and it doesn't need to take a lot of time. And what you're doing is you're increasing that navy blue on your traffic report. You're increasing shoppers that are finding you on the web and then coming into your eBay listings, right? So those are my 5 top tips for you, so that when things do get slow, and it is frustrating, it's like, I'm giving you 5 ways that when that happens, to get it turned around as quickly as possible and to get you more sales. Bye-bye, everybody. I'm Kathy, and I love to be selling.